I have heard so many opinions on police brutality and Black Lives Matter by rap artists over the past 2 weeks that I have to say that I have heard enough opinions and I am done. Now, what I will say is the differences of opinions indicate that people should really just shut the fuck up and stop bringing gangster rap up. I heard something on Fox News the other day about gangster rap. I heard something from Umar Johnson, who's an activist. He was on the Breakfast Club, and I was so disappointed to hear him say, and gangster rap and listen. Anybody who ever tells you all this stuff about gangster rap, the shit that people used to say back in 2001 or maybe 1995, maybe something that had more validity back then, is something that ruined neighborhoods and influenced people to commit crimes and all this bullshit and, this culture that was created to revolt against the police. No one gives a shit about gangster rap, okay? No one cares about it anymore. It is not a prevalent genre within rap, and it's probably not really even a genre at all. If you think about the biggest gangster rappers, you think about Schoolboy Q, not even the biggest artist on TDE. If you think about Pusha T, he's not the biggest artist on Good Music. So what does that tell you? It tells you that it's something that's at least taking a backseat. Is gangster rap something that is going to be more popular in the future? Maybe, but it's not right now. These kids don't want to listen to gangster rap. These kids want to listen to music that speaks to them directly. It's no more the desire to hear a blanket statement punchline about, how many clips you have in your gun and how much you dumped it off and how many keys you said. Nobody wants to hear that anymore. People want to hear about nightlife. People want to hear about a party. People want to hear about a vibe. They want to talk about love. That's what people are really listening to right now. And most of all, obviously, music that has to deal with drugs. Okay? So this stupid fucking argument that people keep bringing up, and somebody had brought that up about the Game, being the gangster rapper that he is, and going up there and marching with Snoop Dogg, which is a conversation in and of itself, and I'll get to that in a second. What the fuck does that have to do with them marching? Like what? Like, this isn't 2004 anymore. No one checks for the Game, and I don't say that to insult the Game, but the Game is mostly well known by what he does on social media. He's more known by when, punching stupid people like Stitches in the face. That's what he's more known for. He still has the ability to make good music, but nobody's really checking for him anymore. Snoop Dogg, I rest my case. So you understand, people have to stop with this opinion that they keep throwing out there, and it has no validity to it whatsoever. Now, let me get to the whole protesting and all that stuff. I think that there is a responsibility that these artists have, which obviously goes without saying. But what we have to understand too is there are some artists that choose to be leaders, and that's fine. Snoop Dogg and the Game choose to be leaders. They choose to march, and I don't know what they've done to follow that up, and I don't really care. But we will, on the opposite end, have people who choose not to be leaders, and that's okay too. I believe in this idea that when rappers become successful, they become slaves to their own success. Now, what does that mean? A police officer kills a black man on television, for the world to see. You have to speak about it, because if you don't speak about it, you're not using your platform the right way. You're being a coon. You're a sellout. So they become slaves to their own skin color, which is very ironic, because if we are talking liberation, if we're talking about, being free, then we have to start at the point where people can say whatever the fuck they want, and people can stay quiet when they choose to stay quiet. Waka Flocka went at the Game, and, I don't want to get into any of that mess, but Waka Flocka said something that was very, I cannot believe I'm about to say that Waka Flocka said something that was very intelligent. Waka Flocka Hard in the Paint said that he doesn't want to steer anybody in the wrong direction. Now, what's wrong with that? ASAP Rocky, tried to mend what he had gotten heat for just a couple of days ago, because what he said at Oxford University last year, where he sounded a bit insensitive towards Black Lives Matter and police brutality. But his message was kind of sort of saying, I don't want to speak on these things. I would rather be an example. And by my example, that is how I validate myself to this world as a black man, as a rapper. If that's how you choose to go about it, then that's how you choose to go about it. We can't force people to be leaders. We can't force people to always have these strong opinions. Maybe they just don't. People have the inability in situations like these, because of the overload of information, people have the inability to say, I don't know. I have no clue what the solution to this is. Is that okay? Is that okay with you? Kevin Gates was another rapper. OG Macko was another rapper, who were both of the opinion that there is a direct correlation between blacks killing blacks, and that's why police officers kill blacks. OG Macko also mentioned that if you're having a conflict by hearing him say this and knowing that he doesn't speak about these matters on this song, then that is you basically trying to destroy another black man, something to the effect of that. And to me, I think that OG Macko should understand who he is. OG Macko should understand who he is in this space. You don't get to dictate. You do not get to dictate how people perceive you when you're basically making a career of developing a perception of yourself. And when you go against that perception, when you say something that's of value, when you comment on societal issues, on important issues, you can't just jump outside of your OG Macko suit and say what you have to say, and don't judge me because of the music that I make, because if you do, you're just knocking down another black man. No. You can't do that. You don't get to do that. It's all about understanding who you are within a certain space. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think that there's a contradiction between the game being who he is and being an activist, because that's essentially the same as OG Macko being who he is and saying what he's saying. But the only difference is I didn't hear the game say, don't none of you complain about the fact that I make gangster rap and I'm here marching. No, you don't get to make that call, because there's a greater issue here. There's a greater issue at hand, and that is the subject that is being discussed. It is what you're marching for, or what you're commenting about. This isn't about you and how people view you, and you just don't get to dictate that. Killer Mike, who is, perhaps, one of the most intelligent rappers out there, somebody who's experienced in civil rights, somebody who is the son of a police officer, if I'm not mistaken, was of the opinion that what we as a people should do is we should take our money out of commercial banks. Other people said what should be done is businesses should be boycotted, and that would be an answer to America, that people are sick and tired of all this stuff, and get them where it hurts, because that's basically like saying America doesn't really care about black and white. What they really care about is green. Again, I have no clue what the solution to any of this is. My answer, my statement, my side that I choose, because remember, all of this is occurring at once. All of these variables, black people killing black people, white people killing black people, taking your money out of banks, gangster rap being a negative influence and all that is a part of this greater issue. It's just one part that everybody's just picking away at, and everybody's convinced that they are 100% correct. Now, my think of this is always pay attention. Pay attention to what's presented to you on the news and your reaction to it every single time. And there is a direct correlation between your reaction and the reason why it keeps on being presented to you. John Taffer is a very well-known reality TV star, and obviously before that, he's a prominent figure, I guess, within the hospitality industry with his show Bar Rescue. I mean, if you guys are familiar with that. So John Taffer has this interesting concept where he talks about reactions. He basically says that if you come to his restaurant and if he puts a plate on your table and he doesn't get a reaction out of you, then his business stays in mediocrity forever. If he gets no reaction out of you, he stays in mediocrity forever. Though if the plate is placed on the table and it gets the reaction that he's looking for, then the business succeeds forever. Now, think about all this shit as something that's being presented on the table. Now, what is always the reaction? The reaction is always outrage, and those people need to treat us better, and our lives matter, and then everybody starts with their own rhetoric, and it's always the same thing, and it's going to happen again. My only thing is just start to consider your reaction to it. Start to consider your behavioral patterns when these things are delivered. Look at your behavioral patterns on social media, the conversations that you have with people after things like this happen. It's a plate that's placed on your table for your reaction, and it's been a successful reaction. That's why it's always going to be shoved in your face. I'm saying all that to say this. My fucking opinion can be completely fucking invalid. There could be somebody in the comment section that'll say, no, you don't really know what this issue's about. You don't really know what this is. Listen, nobody knows what this issue's about. If we all had everything figured out, then we wouldn't have innocent fucking people dying on television, okay? So it's pretty obvious that nobody knows what's going on and that everybody feels that they're 100% correct about every fucking topic. And, why you have 12 or 15 rappers mentioning that this is the issue, or this is the issue, or this is what we really need to pay attention to. As I said, I'm on information overload, and I simply can't take any more of this shit. But pay attention to Waka Flocka. Pay attention to Waka Flocka and his ability to say, I don't know. I have no fucking clue. Take it for what it's worth. And please let me know in the comment section what you guys think. What do you think about Kevin Gates' reaction, basically saying that there's a correlation between cops killing us and, nigga this and nigga that? Well, no, as a matter of fact, that was more of OG Macko's point. What do you think about OG Macko's point? What do you think about Killer Mike's point? What do you think about Waka Flocka? And please let me know in the comment section and follow me on Snapchat. It is my YouTube 2.0, and I'll see you guys next time.